Good afternoon, fans. I'm Matt Johnson, and welcome to the Seattle versus Portland Trivia Challenge. It looks like we have a number of fans with us today for a continuation of this historic rivalry. It caps off a great week of content between these two clubs. We had a great newlywed-style matchup between the Chara and Roldan brothers. That was a blast. Fans battled it out in a FIFA showdown, and now we're here to cap off the week with one more clash. Seattle versus Portland. It's trivia time. A war of wits between Sounders and Timber fans, and it really comes down to which is the smarter city. I'm so glad we could get together safely, virtually today, but this trivia experience, it wouldn't be complete without adding a few people here. A couple players that have been involved from day one. And without further ado, hey, let's bring them in. There they are. Ross Smith and Steve Zakawani. Steve, a former Sounder and Timber. He's obviously a Sounder at heart. And Ross Smith. Ross, you've been involved with the Timbers for some time. And tell me a little bit about your history playing and exactly what this rivalry means, not only in the Northwest, but nationally.
Yeah, I came to know the rivalry in 2010 when I joined with the USL side. And I think the best way to describe it was a preseason friendly, my first ever match, just off a plane. And we're taking a bus up, and I'm thinking it's going to be at a small high school pitch. We're going to be playing a game. We've only got a week of preseason in us. And lo and behold, we pull up to CenturyLink Field and thinking it's going to be cavernous, nobody there. 25,000 people at the gate. I was up against the guy who's next to me here, and he got the better of me a couple of times. We've been bantering a little bit. But that's when when I realized this is something that I needed to learn quickly, but the fans, it certainly meant a lot. And so whether it's a trivia tonight, whether it's a preseason friendly, it doesn't matter. The fans want to win. And I learned that pretty early from getting off that plane.
Steve, you've played it since 2009 in this rivalry. What separates this from other rivalries, maybe the New York or LA Classico? What separates this to make it one of the best in sport in America?
Well, there's a few things. I think the history, obviously, this goes back a very long time. There's been so many iterations of Sounders and Timbers throughout different leagues in American soccer history. But it's the fans. It's two fantastic fan bases. When you go to a game in Portland or to a game in Seattle, the atmosphere is just unbelievable. It feels so real on top of you. It's raw. You can tell the fans care. And when you're playing in this particular game, you don't want to let your fans down. So you're playing not just for the 3 points or for whatever's on the line, but you can't let those fans, because they got going to work on Monday morning and they want bragging rights. So you want to win for them.
Well, we'll get more of your thoughts on both your experiences on the pitch and in the broadcast booth as we go further. But before diving into the competition, let's put a spotlight on ways to help our communities. Both these clubs are doing a heck of a job leading their cities in helping these communities in these tough times. In the spirit of rivalry, if you have the means to do so, any support for this great cause is greatly appreciated. Steve and Ross, let's start with Steve. Let's talk about the Sounders Relief Fund and what it's doing in downtown Seattle.
Yeah, of course, Sounders always been a club that cares so much about community. And right at the onset of this crisis, it was announced that a fund was being set up via the Ray Foundation to help businesses affected in and around CenturyLink Field, those that have lost so much revenue with the lack of action taking place there. So through SoundersFC.com/relief fund, you can go in there, non-profits, individuals, small businesses. You can either apply in there and, you'll get some relief and help. And you can also donate to help the fund grow and to go to so many people. So not surprised by that. Even this hoodie that I'm wearing, you can order this hoodie. You can't quite see it, but we've got some beautiful faces on there. These proceeds also go to the relief fund. So it's a fantastic thing, but I expect no less from a club that's so community focused.
And Ross, Timbers not to be outdone, sure. Very involved and working through the United Way.
Always are. As part of the initiative, as you said, the Timbers are teaming up with United Way of the Columbia Willamette to help raise money for the COVID-19 relief efforts. If you want to contribute, please visit timbers.com/funds. All proceeds will go to United Way's Safety Net program, providing critical services for families in need.
That's awesome. If you're with us on YouTube, find the link in the description on your team's page or simply visit soundersfc.com/relief fund. Ross mentioned Timbers, or you can also go unitedway-pdx.org. All right, let me explain a little bit about this trivia and how it will work. You can play along in two different ways. Option one, if you haven't already done so, go to crowd.live/SEAvPDX. That's obviously Seattle versus Portland. So that's crowd.live/SEAvPDX on your mobile device. You'll submit your answers on your mobile device and follow along with us on live stream on a computer or laptop. Now, the other option is if you're just playing on a computer or laptop, split your screen and have the live stream in one window and the trivia game in the other. All right, you got it? Now, once you're at crowd.live/SEAvPDX, enter your information, pick what team you're playing for, obviously, and you're in. Once we start, you'll have 20 seconds to answer each question. There should be minimum lag time between live stream and trivia game. Now, we get it if there is, so we'll slow down. We're in no rush. We're going nowhere. We're going nowhere on this Friday and Memorial Day weekend. There should be minimal lag time. And then bear with us if there is. But again, each question's worth 100 points. 20 points will be taken away from your score for answering incorrectly. So don't rush. Have a little conviction. And whatever you select is your final answer. You can't go back and forth like me. Can't be wishy-washy. So think hard before choosing. And Steve or Ross, anything to add about this?
Well, like you, and you haven't determined what your allegiance is here, Matt Johnson, who you're going for. So don't be wishy-washy. I would say Timbers fans, first round, like a game, get stuck in, win the first header, win the first tackle. Let me get one over on Steve Zakuani, because he's gotten one over on me on a few occasions, which you'll find in this trivia.
Or as Steve says, just get that first pass. Just connect the first pass.
Yeah, I mean, Sounders fans have been bragging all week about how smart you are. Do not let me down. Let's go.
All right. No need to worry about having an equal number of players on each side. The winning team will be based on a higher average score. Represent your club well, as the winner will walk away with, obviously, as Steve's talking about, serious bragging rights. We'll also be awarding the ultimate match day experience to the top 3 performers for each club. So hope you brought your A game. There'll be 4 rounds. This is really easy. I can do the math here. There'll be 4 rounds, each round containing 6 multiple choice questions. That's 24 total. So the 4 rounds are, what's this? You'll see some pictures. There's a couple good pictures. I'm really excited, actually. What's this? Food for thought, Pacific Northwest, nature and geography, and of course, history of the Sounders Timbers rivalry. All right. How are we looking back in the backstage? I think we're ready to go. I'm excited for this. Fans, you getting ready? Everyone's set to go? Let's see. Let's do it. All right, cool. Let's get on with it. Seattle versus Portland trivia. Round 1. What's that? We'll show you a picture, and you name the players in this photo. A, Sebastian Blanco and Christian Roldan. Diego Valeri and Christian Roldan. Diego Chara and Nico Ladero, or Sebastian Blanco and Nicholas Ladero. There's 2 of them up there. There's your 4 choices. Blanco Roldan, Valeri Roldan, Chara Ladero, Blanco Ladero. Just a couple seconds left. We kind of started off easy, I got to admit. Answer is obviously A, 85%. For those 15%, I'm sorry I called it obvious. But answer A, Sebastian Blanco and Christian Roldan. And just a quick, we won't chat after every question, but Ross and Steve, Ross, you start with the DPs here, and Nico Ladero and Valeri. I mean, 2 of the best DPs, maybe Valeri, one of the best DPs signing in the league.
That's great. There's been some great articles just about Diego Valeri and what he's meant, not only to the Timbers, but the league and his style of play and what he's brought in. And you think that the Argentinian flow of players that has, I mean, you can go to Higuain as well, Federico Higuain for Columbus Crew, of course, but it's just a completely different style that for me, I haven't seen an awful lot of until like a Valeri started coming in, and the influx just seems to keep going up.
Yeah, completely agree. I was fortunate to play with Valeri. Such a fantastic player, great human being as well. I think you'll agree with that. And then obviously Nico Ladero, listen, I've said he's my favorite player to watch. I tell him all the time, please don't leave us. I hope he doesn't. A special, special player, and long may he reign in Seattle.
All right, let's go to question number 2 in round 1. What year was this Emerald City supporters tifo unveiled? Both clubs, their supporters, obviously Timbers Army, ECS, Their bragging rights are the tifos that they put up, and they are amazing. Here is Emerald City supporters. They unveiled this tifo in what year? 2009, 2011, 2013, and 2015. And I won't talk about when this was because there's a question later in the show about this date. But Steve, playing in front of 50, 60,000 fans had to have been special.
Always special. It's the game when the schedule came out in the off season. You circled, you looked forward to, and you knew the fans would always show up. And to be fair, even if it was in CenturyLink Field, you knew the Timbers Army were coming to you. They'd be up in that corner. You could hear them as well. So always special.
And Ross, not to take Providence Park, I usually get some bad mail because I brag too much about Providence Park. You know where our broadcast booth is. Seriously, you sit right over on midfield. You got both benches. It is right up there with one of the best atmospheres in the league.
It's like the intimate concert that you go to, and you go and you feel like you're close enough to the players, but you're surrounded by the crowd, and you're in it. You feel like you're right there in it with the players. And you know, I'm biased, of course, but I think for that reason, it's the best venue in MLS, and it's one of the top venues when you talk about world soccer because of how you feel as a fan going to these matches.
Very Craven Cottagey, wouldn't you say, Steve, down south? You know,
yeah, great shout. Great, didn't think of that, but great shout.
Well, I'm trying to stay neutral. Obviously, Ross isn't, so I'll just move on. Hey, here's question number 3. Since we gave ECS a shout out, what year did the Timbers Army display this tifo? And I did say there was the ECS was 2013. I don't want to talk more details because again, there are details of that answer coming a little bit later. But what year did Timbers Army display this tifo? 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2019. And since I'm being nice on a Friday of a Memorial Day weekend, it was during a Portland win. As the folks behind the scenes are like, no guesses, no clues, no clues. 13, 15, 17, or 19. And the answer is 2015, a 4-1 Portland drubbing. Adi with 2, Nagbe and Wallace. I hate to say, hey, put you guys on the spot, but if you remember the 4-1 win, Ross?
I remember the 4-1 win. Yeah, I remember the 4-1 win. They're always eventful, you know, and offline when we chat about, you know, your top memory, and I know we'll get into that, but there's always something. There's always, whether it's a goal being scored, whether it was an encounter between players on the pitch, but you do remember them. You might need to jog the memory here and there, which I've done this week, but you clearly remember the big events.
Yeah. Steve, I remember Adi being just a monster in this match, just owning Seattle's back four, if I could say that.
Adi was a beast. I remember from his first week training with us how special it was, but I have no chance of forgetting any Portland Timbers win over the Sounders because Darlington Nagbe will text me and let me know if they've won. So he always will text me. So yeah, I know when the Timbers have won.
See, the silent assassin was he, Darlington Nagbe?
yeah.
Well, he was involved in the scoring in 2015. Portland coming away with a 4-1 win. All right, let's move on. Question number 4 in round 1. Roger Levesque performed the infamous tree chop after scoring 48 seconds into the 2009 U.S. Open Cup match in Portland. Who did the chopping? As we kind of move to the next picture up on the screen here, we're still looking, and there's Roger Levesque. Sebastian Letou is behind him, grinning in French, probably doesn't know what's going on. But who's the chopper? Osvaldo Alonso, Freddie Lundberg, Nate Jaqua, or Patrick Ianni? Ozzy, Freddie, Nate, or Patrick Ianni? And the answer is one of the coolest guys I've ever met in pro sports, Nate Jaqua. Nate Jaqua, there's 64%. Most folks got it out of the University of Portland. He's actually from Eugene. So he went down and did some dirty work down there, Ross. That was quite a match, obviously, 48 seconds in. Lots been talked about. Maybe I should have swung this to Steve to answer.
And S2 actually brought it back. They resurrected it. I can't remember the exact player, but against T2 when they scored on Providence Park's pitch. So it's something that will continue, obviously, with the banter as it goes. But Steve, do you remember that? Obviously, that was pre-scripted before going into that game.
Yeah, we didn't know they were going to do it, but it's something that once he did that, we knew it'd be iconic and we'd be thinking about it for a long time. I just laugh when I look at these multiple choice questions here because I saw Open Cup and I saw Freddie Lundberg and I'm like, if it's not the final, he probably wasn't there.
He didn't get on the bus, did he?
No, he was not there, I can assure you.
No, I just heard Roger Levesque the other day talking about this, an old clip, but obviously Timber fans weren't a big fan of Roger Levesque, were they, Ross?
No chance. But from what I hear, he's a really nice guy. I mean, he could wind people up. He could wind you up playing against them, and he could wind the fans up. But after the game, he was always looking in the eyes, shaking hands from the times I played against them, which is what you want, right?
And Steve, not the most talented guy. I mean, you got to admit, but worked his tail off and stayed in the league.
Yeah, worked really hard. Just a good teammate. He's a guy who you come in Monday morning to training, he has a smile on his face, a handshake, always had a story to tell. When you're out there on the pitch, if he's on your team, you love it because he's going to work really, really hard. If you're going against him, then you know you can't take any plays off because he's going to work hard and keep you accountable. So fantastic guy. I remember the day he retired, I was really, really sad because Roger's one of the top guys that I ever met in the sport.
Question 4. So that answer is Nate Jake. Well, we move on, and really the most anticipated picture of the whole event. I don't mean to say that
this has been added in, by the way.
Nothing else is good, but I am really excited to get a little conversation. Ross Smith is pictured here wearing his trademark short shorts. Well, right there, it strikes me as that's your trademark. So we got to talk about your trademark short shorts. Why did Ross choose to wear these shorts, this style? A, he said it made him feel better. B, he said it made him look better.
Could be argued.
C, he says it made him play better. Okay. Or D, all the above. Feel better, look better, play better, all the above. I just love the look, Ross.
My answer wanted to be E, is that I was searching for an underwear sponsorship. And it wasn't coming my way, and I thought, hike these up. I'm gonna start to get a bit of money coming in, and but obviously none of
Well, the answer officially is D. Great to see 89% get D. All the above. Feel better, look better. I don't know. Play better, or all the above. Do you have any last thoughts before we move on?
Move on. I would say people would be raving about legs like that if they weren't so pasty white. If Zakawani is wearing short shorts, it becomes iconic. For me, get rid of it.
Well, they look toned. They look great, but I'd like to move on. No offense.
Please.
All right. Question number 6 is all the above was the answer to number 5. Question number 6. We go to our next guy here who's just sitting all casually with his hoodie in a U.S. Open Cup match in which Steve and Ross both competed. The Sounders emerged victorious in PKs. What year was it? As Zakawani looks like he's clearly going to his right, the goalie's left, but I don't know. 2008, 2009, 2010, or 11. U.S. Open Cup match in where Steve and Ross both competed. Here's Steve going for a PK in 8, 9, 10, or 11. The answer is 2010. And Steve actually made this kick. Ross unfortunately missed his. But Steve, talk about some strategy as 44% got the correct answer. Steve, how'd you do here in this kick?
I scored, but it was the worst penalty I've taken in my life. I don't know how I scored. I'll be honest with you. So I've hit much, much better penalties that have missed. And this one somehow squeezed under the goalkeeper. It was our second year going to Portland to play in the Open Cup, and I got to play in this one. It was a fun game. And listen, I'm glad I scored, but if you watch the replay of that penalty, there's no way that should be in the back of the net.
Steve, what was that walk? Sorry, Matt. What was that walk like? Because I did that walk, and obviously my penalty, there was a different outcome. That walk was the longest walk of my life.
Yeah, we get asked that question a lot, just the penalty walk. And it's like, you take a penalty in a game, you don't feel the pressure in that way. The penalty shootout penalty, the walk from the halfway line, listen, every step you take, the goal is getting smaller, the keeper's getting bigger, your legs feel like jelly. It's horrible. I do not wish that on my worst enemy. I hated taking penalties in the penalty shootout.
But then the free yard coming back, biggest smile on your face and best feeling in the world.
Once you score, you're happy. It doesn't matter how it goes in. As long as it goes in, you run back, high five everyone, get a big hug. So yeah, it's great coming back if you score.
The hero. Now, Ross, you went against Casey Keller in this match, did you not?
I did.
Yeah.
You know what? That 40 yards walking towards Casey Keller, I was taking it all in. I thought, I'm scoring 100%. But I thought, I'm going to give Casey Keller the eyes. He's never seen this trick. If I look one way and put the penalty the other, no way Casey Keller has ever seen this from a player. And he could have dove the other way, got back up, and still made the save. Brutal.
Which, not to stay on this, you're good-hearted. Which way did you go, and did he go the right way?
I went to Casey Keller's right, and he went the correct way. Like I said, he could have chested it, he could have controlled it, he could have done anything.
It's 50-50. He always tells me there's no pressure for goalies because you just dive one way. You just go one way. So, all right, let's move on. Hey, let's take a look at the standings after one round, if we can. We'll look at the team that won that round. Portland Timbers. There's Ross's team, Portland Timbers, 297-290. And what team is in the overall lead is obviously the same because we've only played one round. Can we take a look at the individual who's in the overall lead? Because I'm looking forward to calling out some names, and unless we just want to go back to Steve Zakawani's. Steve, who was the goalie in that match?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know who the keeper was.
Ross, do you remember who played goal behind you?
Yeah, Steve Cronin.
Steve Cronin.
Steve Cronin was with LA Galaxy prior, I believe, before the Timbers. So it's a good keeper.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3 perfect scores. You see them right there. MLS away fans, Troy and Abed and Haley. All right, we'll see if we can keep that up. I don't see who they are with, but we have 3 perfect scores. All right, round 2, food for thought. Steve's a foodie. Are you a foodie, Ross?
Am I?
Are you a meat and potatoes guy?
I'm getting it's the Scottish blood in me.
Yeah.
It's the meat and potatoes, the tatties. Yeah, the pies at the games.
Bigger the better meals.
Me to have.
Right on. All right, let's go to question 1 in food for thought. The top awards for American chefs and culinary professionals are named for what chef who grew up in Portland? A, James Beard. B, Julia Child. C, Jonathan Waxman. Or D, Charlie Trotter. It's an award for American chefs and culinary professionals. What chef who grew up in Portland?
What was your favorite place even in Portland?
Favorite restaurant? It was a Peruvian place, I think it was, called Andina. So I absolutely loved the food in Portland. So good. I mean, Seattle was great as well. I didn't expect Portland to be that way, and we fell in love with it. And Andina is probably the top spot that I went to.
Yeah, it's quality.
Ross, no pub or Irish potato bar. What's your?
Wherever they serve a shandy, that's where
The answer, A, James Beard. James Beard is a gentleman that the award is named after. He grew up in Portland, 73%. Nice job, 73%. We'll see. Those are all Portland fans. All right, number 2 in round 2, food for thought. Seattle dogs are hot dogs that are typically topped with what ingredients? You ready for this? Clams and tartar sauce, mayonnaise and hot sauce, cream cheese and caramelized onions, or bacon and pickles. Seattle dogs, are they clams and tartar sauce, mayonnaise and hot sauce, cream cheese and caramelized onions, bacon and pickles? All 4 would upset my tummy, but you guys never eat those things. You didn't have time, did you?
Listen, I've stumbled out of a few places at 2 a.m. and I tell you, it hits the spot. It lands very, very well. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
But it's not
the answer.
Go ahead, Ross. It's only at 2 a.m.
Only 2 a.m.
That's the only time you're supposed to eat them. Yep. In Fremont or Ballard. The answer, 76% got correct. Cream cheese and caramelized onion makes up a Seattle dog. And yes, at 2 a.m., that does fit the bill. 13% went to clams and tartar sauce. Well, good for you. That's very creative. Question number 3 in round 2 of food for thought. Washington and Oregon are the 2 largest producers of what herb? I was going to say what legal herb, but that doesn't really go right now anyways. But A, peppermint. B, dill. C, sage, or D, rosemary? Peppermint, dill, sage, or rosemary? Ross, you don't cook with those. Steve, are you much of a cook in those? No.
No, I'm not much of a cook. No.
Let's get right out of the kitchen and go to the restaurant. The answer is A, peppermint. Washington, Oregon, and Oregon are the two largest producers of peppermint. And if you have anything to add, a bunch of people went to rosemary. So that's a big one. If the 15% got to peppermint, you are in the lead, as that was really split up. That's a hard question. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't know it. I had no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, throwing darts. So that could throw things off there when we look at the standings at the end of the round. Question 4, round 2, food for thought. The largest drive-through coffee chain in the country was founded in and is based in Oregon. What is it? Black Rock Coffee, Dutch Bros, Caribou Coffee, or Costa Coffee? Are you a get up in the morning, Ross, and have your coffee?
Yeah.
You got to have it?
Pour the coffee on my face. Yeah, to get me
get her going. Yeah. Steve, you're not a coffee guy, are you?
I'm not coffee. I'm a tea guy, and then
of course,
every once in a while, a little bit of Bailey's with a tea, But I'm a tea guy. Yeah.
Bailey's, Friday.
Do you get your English tea? Do you have to get it sent over? Or can you find the taste that you need?
I can find it here. It's not the same. So when I go home, I come back with a lot. So yeah, a lot. Yeah. So I bring it from home. Yeah.
I remember Ridgewell was the same.
Yeah.
Put it in the duffel bag. All right, Dutch Bros. The largest drive-through coffee chain in the country was founded and is based in Oregon. It's Dutch Bros, and that's 86%. That's a whooping there on that question number 4. I just turned from cream and sugar to black. I'm trying to get rid of all the extras, so it's been a tough couple weeks. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the sugar and all that stuff. So a little more wired and like just too much zooming. So down to 1 or 2 cups, if anyone's interested. All right, question number 5. Food for thought. Seattle is largely responsible for the popularization of what type of food? Barbecue, teriyaki, vegan, or sushi? And when I read this just the other day, I thought 3 of these were possible. I thought this was a tough question, as tough as peppermint. But is it barbecue, teriyaki, vegan, or sushi? Got a few more section. Steve, are you still on, what train are you on?
I'm veganish. So
except for the Seattle dogs.
Yeah, I'm veganish. So I've mostly stayed away from meat, but eggs are a tough one. So
I got you. Yeah. And if you're having a tough day, you're ish. You're moving to the ish mode.
Yeah. Were you that way as a player? I've gone vegetarian, and I wish I did it as a player.
I wish. No, when I played, I ate meat, red meat, chicken. But it's been 4 years now, no meat whatsoever. But like I said, eggs have been tough for me, so I can't completely claim vegan. But yeah,
58% did make the correct choice in teriyaki. Teriyaki, 58%. That is the winner. Seattle is largely responsible for the popularization of teriyaki. I would have thought vegan or sushi. Sushi's everywhere up here. Everywhere.
It is, yeah.
Who knows? All right, question 6, the last question in round 2 of Food for Thought. Since the first World Beer Cup in 1996, the state of Washington has had 86 different award-winning beers at the competition. 86. How many has the state of Oregon received? Washington has had 86. Oregon has had what? How many? 86, the same amount, 101, 133, or 147. 15 full seconds left. Washington's had 86. Has Oregon had the same? 101, 133, or 147? And the answer is 3, 2, 1, 147. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Are you a craft beer guy, Ross?
I'll dabble into a little craft beer. As you watch it, your belly start to go out the more pints that go in. But there's some great selections, isn't it? I mean, both in Seattle and in Portland. And, it's tough to resist when you're going out to catch up with people and a pint here or there. You always want to try new things. But there's some good spots.
Yeah. We're always saying we're going to meet before or after a game, and it never happens. we're busy. We're busy,
You sidestep us. That's where you get back on in that car and you head straight back to Seattle.
Well, you're right. You're right. This was split up, only 13%. This was a tough question. 13% got the correct answer of D of 147. So that should split it up. All right, let's go to the standings. What team won the round here? See what team won the round.
Ooh, there we go.
Seattle Sounders make a comeback, winning this round 245 to 189. The overall lead, which team is the overall leader?
Oh, wow.
Not only closed the gap, they jumped Portland Timbers 470, excuse me, to 418. What individual leads? Let's see if there's still a perfect score. Nope, but we have a tie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-way tie. Awesome. L Money, Aussie Bomb, Matt EB, along with 5 others up there at 480. Hey, listen, real quick, just a reminder, head to soundersfc.com/relief fund to donate, or unitedway-pdx.org to donate to either of your cities, your clubs during these tough times. If that's too difficult, just go to soundersfc.com and timbers.com and donate for everybody who needs it more than us, as we are just playing trivia games, or people who could use the funds. SoundersFC.com. I've received one of those shirts. If you add to that, you get a shirt. Steve's putting on the hoodie, and Ross had mentioned unitedway-pdx.org for Timber fans. All right, we're moving along. Round 3, Pacific Northwest, Nature and Geography. Question number 1. The world's smallest public park is in Portland. What is its name? A, Patton Square Park. B, Mills End Park. C, Tanner Springs Park. Or D, Two Plum Park. Again, the world's smallest public park is in Portland. What is its name? Patton Park. There's twice now. Patton Square Park, Mills End Park, Tanner Springs Park, Two Plum Park. Ross, you familiar with any of those 4?
I do think I know the answer for this, and it's puny. I think it's just one tree, and that's it. You blink and you buy it. The
answer is Mills End Park, and there's one tree for it, huh?
I believe so. I don't want to give any misinformation, but I think it's just one tree, and like I say, you're 2 steps and you're out the park.
That would make it the world's smallest park. That's right. And 54% received the right answer there. Mills End Park. Good for you. Question number 2. In Pacific Northwest Nature and Geography, Portland is one of 6 cities in the country to have an extinct volcano within its city limits. What is the volcano's name? A volcano inside the city limits sounds scary. Is it Mount Hood, Mount Scott, Council Crest, or Mount Tabor? Is it Mount Hood, Mount Scott, Council Crest, or Mount Tabor? As we just passed the 40-year anniversary of Mount St. Helens blowing its stop. There's your 4 answers.
We got to ask Steve Zakawani. He loves hiking, doesn't he? So we got to ask Steve Zakawani.
Listen, this whole section is not for me. Honestly, this is not for me. No chance.
Stay home. The answer is Mount Tabor. Mount Tabor is within the city limits of Portland. And Steve, briefly, you're just not, how about a bike? Will you get on a bike?
No, I won't. I'm excited a long time. I'm just stay at home, hang out at home. I can see Rainier from my house, and that's enough. That's good enough for me. Yeah.
60% of the voters guessed correctly in Mount Tabor. Question number 3 in Pacific Northwest Nature and Geography. What is the largest city by square mileage in the Pacific Northwest? A, Seattle. B, Portland. C, Eugene. Or D, Tacoma? What is the largest city by square mileage that Steve will not walk in the Pacific Northwest? Seattle, Portland, Eugene, or Tacoma? Almost done with round 3. The answer, as it's spread out, is Portland, Oregon. Seems right. Seems right. We were discussing this the other day that Seattle seems big, but you got water, mountains, the whole thing. Portland's the correct answer, and not many people got that correct. Just 21%. That's going to open things up. No comments from the gallery for nature and geography. Mount Hood has an elevation of 11,250 feet. How much taller is Mount Rainier? Mount Hood's at 11,250. How much taller is Mount Rainier? A, it's not. B, 783 feet. C, 1,930 feet. Or D, 3,161 feet. How much taller is Mount Rainier? There you go. 4 different answers. Another rather tough one. It's not 783, 1930, or 3161. And the answer is 3,161. Mount Rainier is 14,411 feet. It's the tallest mountain in the Cascade Range. And like we said, 3,161, 50% got that correct. Steve guessed B, 783 feet. All right, moving on to rivers. The Columbia River, which draws much of the state line between Washington and Oregon, is how many miles long? Think about that one, Ross Smith. The Columbia River, which draws much of the state line between Washington and Oregon, is how many miles long? 448 miles long, 790, 912, or 1,243 miles.
That's got one of the best views that I've ever seen. When you come up the Willamette and you turn the corner and you get onto the Columbia and you see, when you're on the water and you can see Mount Hood, spectacular. There's this jet ski service that I know a few players like to jump on and they go razzing about, but I've done it once or twice. It's amazing. Amazing.
Really, really good. Yeah.
You coaches probably don't want to know if they're on jet skis, correct?
Probably not.
Probably not. All right, the answer is D. 45% got the correct answer. 1,243 miles. It's the 7th longest river in North America. All right. Question number 6 in Pacific Northwest, nature and geography. How many national parks does Oregon have? 45% got that answer right. We're on to question number 6. How many national parks does Oregon have? 0, 1, 2, or 3? 0, 1, 2, or 3. Steve hasn't visited any of them. Sorry to pick on you, Steve.
Yeah. No, listen, I do.
You own it.
Steve's doing all right, by the way. Steve's doing all right. He's got a penalty in this trivia.
Exactly.
You've got shorts going on.
That's
not bad at all. The answer is 1. Oregon has 1 national park. Crater Lake is Oregon's lone national park. Washington State has 3. Olympic, Mount Rainier, and North Cascades National Park. And small 32% had that correct. Spread all out. Can't wait for the standings. If we can, let's see if Steve's squad, the Seattle Sounders, are still in the lead after the 3rd round. That's the round. Excuse me. That is the round result. So Portland took a big jump in this round. Let's see the overall team lead.
Wow.
Zach Awani Smith is just crushing you all of a sudden. Well, actually 602 to 581, but made a big jump for Portland there. And who has the individual lead? Looking to see how many were tied last time. 8. 1 is up there. Troy's up there with 1680. 2 tied at 1440. MLS away fans and RCTID Trav. All right. So it looks like 3 are in contention to win this overall. We are tight. That's exciting. And this is the good one. This is a good one. Round 4. All right. Put your seatbelt on, you guys. Round 4 is history of Sounders Timbers rivalry. So we started with round 1, which was a good one. with the pictures and Sebastian Blanco and Christian Roldan. And now we're at history of Sounders Timbers rivalry. All right, question number 1. Who has the most all-time goals in the Sounders Timbers rivalry? Is it A, Diego Valeri, B, Fernando Adi, C, Clint Dempsey, or D, Obafemi Martins? Valeri, Adi, Dempsey, and Martins. And I remember, Ross, when we were down in Tucson, you guys, I wouldn't say that it was a diving header for Fernando Adi. I just said, well, there's Adi once again scoring against the Sounders.
Yeah.
And I think Jake was like, that's a diving header, Matt. That was a diving header. And we went back and forth on the web.
Exhibit, yeah. Having a day. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, some heavyweight players, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
When you look at what they've contributed to their respective clubs. Steve, I'd love that. Clint Dempsey, obviously. Obafemi Martins, though. What was he like?
I'm looking at that list, and so fortunately I spent some time with all of them. And look, listen, the one who's clear in the way is Oba. Oba was the most special player I ever saw in my life in terms of what he did in training. Then it would translate to games. Like he would, be one-on-one with the goalkeeper, juggle the ball over the keeper to himself, and then tap the ball in. Things you just never saw. And then Clint was a killer. Clint was just anything around the 18-yard box. The bigger the game was, ice in his veins, he's going to score. So all of them are fantastic, but Oba is the one that I remember the most for the things he did was special.
Well, 56% of the fans got this question correct. It's Clint Dempsey with 9 goals. Fernando Adi right there with 8. He had 8 and 11 played. Clint Dempsey 9 and 12 played. All 4 had magnificent matches in this rivalry. On June 16th, 2015, and you can see the 56% got that question correct. On June 16th, 2015, Sounders lost to the Timbers in a U.S. Open Cup. Their first ever loss at Starfire's soccer stadium, where they also trained. What if fans dubbed this match the Starfire Madness, Open Cup Catastrophe, the Red Card Wedding, or Gola Palooza? Starfire Madness, Open Cup Catastrophe, Red Card Wedding, Gola Palooza. Go ahead.
This was crazy match. Steve, were you there? I was there. I was watching. I wasn't working in the broadcast. I couldn't believe how heated things got in the stands.
So it was back to back. The year before I played in that game, we went to Starfire. I was with the Timbers, and I played in that one. And then the following year, I was retired, and I came back as a fan. And insane. I mean, just watching that game again. I don't want to give away what happened until Matt gives the answer, but it was insane.
Yeah, everybody got it. 87%. The Red Card Wedding. It finished 11-7. 7 yellow cards, 3 reds. Dempsey, Azera, Evans were red carded. Obafemi was injured. 11-7, and it was nuts. I mean, it was a crazy one.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3 in history of Sounders Timbers rivalry. Which Timbers player once scored a brace on his birthday against the Sounders? Was it Diego Valeri, Diego Chara, Fernando Adi, or Larry's Mabiala? When I thought it was, if it was Larry's Mabiala, Ross, the 2 headers up in June a couple of years ago, he just was commanding the ball in the air. 2 corner kicks, 2 goals.
Those battles, like with Chad Marshall. When we talked about Fernando Adi before, I loved watching that against Marshall, but then Mabiala as well come up for corners. Just two titans.
And I don't mean to throw anyone off, but the answer was Diego Chara, who scored those 2 goals down in Portland. I just watched that the other day. Ozzy Alonso screaming at Jalil Anibaba, go up, get him. But Diego Chara take nothing away. A couple corners up in the corner to score a couple against the Sounders on his birthday. 63% got the answer right. Diego Chara. Which player has the most yellow cards in MLS matches between Timbers and the Sounders? There should only be 2 names really in this. It's almost cute that Freddie Montero and Jack Jewsbury. Jack Jewsbury maybe, but A, Ozzy Alonso, B, Diego Chara. If you answer anything else, you are kicked out of the competition. But it's A, Alonso, B, Chara, Montero, Jewsbury. Ross, talk a bit about Chara, who's still going strong. I'm so impressed with him in the middle.
It's amazing. Still underrated, you would say as well. Underappreciated from teams outside the Pacific Northwest. And I think more and more last year when he was named to the All-Star team, people finally given the credit that he deserves. I think he's getting better with every year as well. Look, he's one of those players. It was like with a Darlington Nagbe. When you ask me to talk about him, you can't wait to talk about him. Like Diego Chara, ask me a question about Diego, I'll speak about him all day, because as good as he is on the pitch as well, he's as good as a person. You see him flashing those pearly whites.
Yeah.
Steve knows him better than I do, obviously. But what a player, what a person.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And Steve, your thoughts quickly on Ozzie Alonso. You're very close with him, and thought that he might not have got his recognition until a couple years too late, but he dominated the middle for Seattle. I mean, and we talked the other day, you have two holding midfielders as good as this. You love seeing the matchup between them.
Yeah, they're very similar. I mean, Ozzie's one of my best friends, but I think both of them as a partnership would be unbeatable. It'd be the best you can get. They're both really, really good reading the spaces, things like that. But I think as people as well, I mean, I shared a locker room with Chara for a year, and I just couldn't believe how nice of a person he was, and his personality on the pitch and off the pitch, complete opposite. People say to him all the time, what's Ozzie like? Is he crazy? No, nice, chill, family guy. But you cross those white lines, even me, his friend, there's a few times he hit me in training. Like, that's Ozzie. It's me. He doesn't care. The ball's there. I'm going. It's either you or the ball. But two such nice people, honestly, and fantastic players that I think people are now understanding just how great they've been for so many years.
Right on. All right. Who's the only player? This is question number 5 in the Sounders Timbers rivalry, round 4. Who is the only player to score an MLS goal for both the Sounders and the Timbers? Mike Facito. Did I even say the last answer? I don't think I did. Ozzie Alonso was the answer. Who's had the most yellow cards? Pardon me. 44%. A little dip. 53% took Chara. I apologize. Ozzie Alonso has the most yellow cards in an MLS matches between Timbers and Sounders. We got all excited. Who is the only player to score an MLS goal for both Sounders and Timbers is question number 5. Is it Mike Facito, Adam Moffat, Kenny Cooper, or Stephen Keel? Facito, Moffat, Cooper, and Keel.
Here's a cool little added trivia. Jake Zivin ran a trivia for Timbers fans, Timbers staff last week. Mike Facito was the only player in Timbers MLS era who went to an Ivy League school.
Really?
A love for himself. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like how Jake Zivin dug that fact out.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Another nice guy. And the nicest, one of the, again, nicest guy, Kenny Cooper. Kenny Cooper scored against each of these teams. He did in the rivalry down at Providence Park, a little tap-in at Providence Park in front of the Timbers Army. Kenny Cooper, great guy. 64% got that right. Good for you guys. That's well done. Facito, Moffat, Cooper, Keel. Let's go with Cooper. All right. Last question. This is a big one. Deal breaker. Until the 2019 MLS Cup, which date against the Timbers was the largest home crowd for the Sounders at CenturyLink Field? August 25th, 2013, August 26th, 2014, August 21st, 2016, or July 21st, 2019. Before the MLS Cup last November, where there was 69,274, what was the largest home crowd at CenturyLink Field? And I'll give you a little hint. It also had to do with that TIFO. It was August 25th, 2013. Unbelievable. It was 67,385. 44,000. 44% got that. Steve, again, the large crowds, you saw them growing up in England, but you come over here, it compares to many at CenturyLink Field, many in not only Europe, but Spain.
No, absolutely. And I think sometimes you can have a large crowd, but the atmosphere is not great. I think those two teams get large crowds, and then the atmosphere still is really good. The fans are into it. Playing in CenturyLink was always special. Playing in CenturyLink in that game, that derby game, was a different level. Like I said, the fans were into it. You could feel the energy. If you were a goal down, the fans gave you a boost. If you went a goal up, sometimes you get a little bit nervous. You don't want to give it away because the Timbers Army start going. So it just was fantastic. And I think it's a testament to both fan bases for how much they've added to the rivalry, not just the great players and great coaches, but in the stands as well.
Well, before we get to the final standings, and I'll get your thoughts here in a moment, Ross, this is it for us online, but we're going to finish up the weekend with a couple great matches. Both clubs are re-airing different broadcasts, which make just a little bit of sense. right? So tomorrow night on Joe TV, SoundersFC.com or Sounders FC app at 7 p.m. The 4-2 win from August of 2014. Steve, you played in that match, did you not? I think you played for the losing side.
Probably like 75 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I played a little bit, probably, yeah.
You came in about the 80th minute, didn't you?
Okay, good. Okay, 10 minutes.
Down in Portland, it was a sunny day. You took a couple shots. There was a guy open back post. You didn't use him.
It's an appearance bonus.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So that's tomorrow on Joe TV at 7 p.m. On the Portland side of things, Ross, also at 7, you can catch the Timbers 2-1 win versus Seattle from June of 2012. Yeah. You might remember that. But Jake Ziven, we mentioned earlier, will also be hosting a live chat throughout the match. That's on timbers.com. Ross, do you remember 2012? I don't remember 2 years ago. So
I remember the big moments, but I have gone back this week to watch it. Jake will be on with Jack Dewsbury, Footy Danzo, and David Horst. So there were some big moments in that game, and a lot stand out. But honestly, the tifo at the start, Clive Charles was part of the tifo at the start. Obviously, legendary coach from England. He's actually born in Dagenham. I never knew that until looking into it a bit more. But Clive Charles, coach at University of Portland, coach for the U.S. men's national team. There was a tifo for him. He's no longer with us. So that was a special moment, I would say, in 2012.
Right on. 2-1 win versus Seattle, June of 2012, timbers.com. All right, it's time. It's looked like everything's been tabulated. Let's go to, I want to go to the winners. Let's look at our winning club. I'm not moving on from my Friday if I don't know the winning club. Don't do that look, Steve Zakawani.
I'm nervous. I'm actually really nervous.
Seattle Sounders. That's the 319 to 223.
I think you've got it. Wow. I think you've done it.
That's the round. Pardon me. Thank you very much. The round win with the history is 319 to 223. Here's the overall winner that could have done it because it was very close.
I think we had like 20 points to make up. Love it. Absolutely love it. Gotta love that.
795 to 737. The Sounders pull it off.
Where's the bonus round? Where's extra time in here?
Those are two great scores, though. That's actually very, very close for trivia. But yeah, we'll take the win. We'll take the win.
Wow. All right. We're getting our individual winners from both Portland and Seattle. The Sounders winners, Troy and Abed. Stormwind, second place, Stormwind. Third place, come on, I am just so nervous. This was close. Corolla, yeah, not Corolla, but Corolla. That's third place. Oh, tied for second. Add 206, tied for second. Mark 206. All right, yeah. So do we have the Portland? Yeah, here we go. For the Timbers. Boy, this is like reading the ticker tape. Yeah. Doing the old play-by-play baseball.
Remember teletext, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. From Ebbets Field in the 30s. MLS away fans, first place. RCTID Trav in second place. And Drayden in third place. So that's it. We'll be in touch with you via email. And for your ultimate fan day, match day experience, prizes can be redeemed once we play. Let's hope we play soon. It'd be very exciting to be watching and talking about live games. Impressive by the individuals. Sounders made a little bit of a comeback. Final thoughts? One, stay safe this weekend, both Ross and Steve, but final thoughts of this rivalry and what we might see tomorrow.
So it was good fun, link it up with anything to do with it, right? It gets the attention and you want to be a part of it. So it was good fun to be a part of it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Obviously, it's the number one rivalry in this country. We know that. And it's fantastic. Again, everyone stay safe, do your part, and cannot wait till we're having this game in person again in a packed stadium, whether that's Seattle or Portland.
Right on. Thanks again to everyone who joined us today. Had a lot of fun. Glad we could meet together virtually, safely. Ross, Steve, thanks again for joining us, taking your time out. Again, congratulations to the Seattle Sounders. Sorry, Ross. The winning club, Seattle. You showed who's boss today.
Stewards Inquiry after this.
Right on. We're all looking forward to seeing each other together in one of these stadiums. Have a great day. I'm Matt Johnson. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe.
All right, guys. See ya.
See you soon.